En tu último libro, titulado El Establishment, dices que los medios de comunicación se han convertido en un coto privado para gente de orígenes privilegiados. Tú eres muy crítico con los medios de comunicación. ¿Qué papel han tenido a la hora de fabricar esa imagen negativa de la clase obrera?
We have a very small group of very politicised media moguls who control almost all of the press in this country, and they use that position to gain political influence. And, you know, less than 37% of people who voted in the general election voted for the Conservatives, but about 70% of the media supports the Conservatives. And at the same time, journalism is full of people often from very privileged backgrounds, because it's very difficult to get into the media unless you can afford to work for free. So as a consequence, the media, what they do is they focus their attention not on the powerful people in society, like bankers who plunge the country into economic disaster. Instead they focus on poor people and immigrants. And what they do is they find the most unrepresentative and unsympathetic examples they can find and say this is representative.
¿Cuál es el estereotipo que venden los medios de la clase trabajadora?
And what we always have is an attempt to find particularly poor benefit claimants and find the worst examples, I'll give an example. A woman kidnapped her daughter a few years ago in Yorkshire in order to get money from the tabloid press because she pretended she'd gone missing. And when it was discovered what had happened, the idea was spread that this is representative. This is what the old working class have become. They've become this underclass, and spread the idea as though, you know, anybody who lived in a council house was like the mother who kidnapped her own daughter. Instead of saying, no, this isn't representative of an entire group of people. This is only representative of herself. You know, it's not like people around council flats like this kidnapping their own daughters to get money, but that's the way the media portrayed it, as though she was representative of not just herself, but of an entire group of people.
Pero si en vez de una persona de clase baja, esa persona de este suceso truculento hubiese sido de clase media, ¿la prensa hubiese informado de otra manera?
Well, I'll give you an example. We had a doctor in this country called Harold Shipman, who was a serial killer who poisoned his patients and killed them. Now, imagine saying, well, this is a damning indictment of middle-class Britain. It's ridiculous, obviously. He only represented himself. His social background had nothing to do with his crimes.
Y los medios, además de con sucesos relatados de una manera o de otra, por ejemplo con la ficción, ¿los medios consiguen transmitir algún tipo de imagen negativa de la clase trabajadora a través de su programación?
Absolutely, and you know, we had a show called Benefit Street, which was about a street in Birmingham where people were supposedly dependent on benefits. We haven't had shows called Bankers Street or Tax Avoiders Street, and that's part of the problem. But it is also, I asked the producer of Benefit Street, a show which caused a big storm when it came out on Channel 4 last year, and I said, why don't you do shows about rich people, about their bad behaviour? And he said, I'm just not interested in it.
Seguro que hay mucha clase trabajadora que consume este tipo de televisión. ¿Qué sienten cuando se ven reflejados de esta manera?
There's a TV show called Shameless, which is set on a council estate in Manchester, which is very chaotic and raucous, full of drugs and, you know, people just having sex with everyone and just partying all the time. And I don't think people look on council estates look at that and think, well, obviously that's me. They'll be laughing along with it, but they won't see it as an attack on them. The difference is somebody who's middle class and who doesn't live on a council estate, who doesn't know people who live on a council estate, are far more likely to look at that programme and think, that's what they're like. People on council estates, they're all like that. The danger is, in a segregated and unequal society, a middle class person will think they're basically watching a documentary when it's actually an entertainment drama which is based on caricatures.